Mistakes. Just hearing the word used to send a chill down my spine. I used to be terrified of them, thinking that every mistake I made would somehow define me, exposing my flaws for the world to see. But over time, I realized that mistakes are not the end of the road. They're lessons disguised as challenges. Let me tell you the story of how I learned to handle mistakes and grow stronger because of them. It all started during my final year in high school. I had been chosen to represent my class in a regional debate competition. I'd always been passionate about public speaking, but this event was different. The stakes were higher, and the audience was bigger. My classmates trusted me, and my teachers believed in my abilities. I spent weeks preparing, researching, and rehearsing my arguments. I wanted everything to be perfect. The day of the competition arrived. I walked onto the stage with my notes in hand, confident yet nervous. As the first round began, everything was going well. I delivered my points clearly and received applause from the audience. But in the second round, disaster struck. I misinterpreted one of the opposing team's arguments and responded with an irrelevant rebuttal. My mistake became evident when the audience and judges exchanged puzzled looks. My teammates looked at me with concern, and I could feel my confidence crumbling. In that moment, I had two choices: let the mistake consume me or find a way to recover. I took a deep breath and admitted my error. I believe I misunderstood the point raised by the opposition. I said, "Let me clarify my argument." I quickly rephrased my response and moved on. Although I felt embarrassed, I reminded myself that the competition wasn't over yet. After the debate ended, I couldn't stop thinking about my mistake. I replayed the moment in my head over and over, wondering why I hadn't caught the error earlier. For days, I avoided talking to my teammates, fearing that they were disappointed in me. But then, one of them approached me and said something that changed my perspective. "You know, we all make mistakes," she said. "What matters is how you handled it. You admitted it, corrected yourself, and moved on. That takes courage." Her words stayed with me. I realized that mistakes weren't something to fear or avoid. They were opportunities to learn and grow. I began to think about my mistake as a valuable experience rather than a failure. What could I learn from it? How could I prevent it from happening again? From that point on, I made a conscious effort to embrace mistakes as part of my journey. I started by reflecting on my actions without being overly critical of myself. I'd ask questions like, what went wrong? What could I have done differently? Instead of focusing on the embarrassment or guilt, I focused on the lessons. For instance, in the debate competition, I learned the importance of actively listening to my opponents instead of assuming I knew what they were going to say. I also realized that admitting mistakes openly, rather than trying to hide them, can earn you respect. It shows maturity and a willingness to improve. Over time, I applied this mindset to other areas of my life. Whether it was an error in a school assignment, a miscommunication with a friend, or even a failed attempt at learning something new, I began to see mistakes as stepping stones. Each one taught me something valuable and helped me grow stronger. There was another key moment that reinforced this lesson for me. During my first internship at a marketing agency, I accidentally sent an email campaign to the wrong client. The mistake could have cost the company a lot, and I felt a familiar wave of panic wash over me. But instead of spiraling into self-doubt, I took immediate action. I informed my supervisor about the mistake, apologized sincerely, and worked late to fix the issue. My supervisor didn't scold me. Instead, she appreciated my honesty and proactive attitude. That experience taught me that mistakes, when handled responsibly, don't have to ruin your reputation. In fact, they can strengthen it. People respect those who take ownership of their actions and strive to do better. Now, whenever I make a mistake, I remind myself of these lessons. Mistakes are not roadblocks. They're detours that guide us to a better path. They help us understand our weaknesses, refine our skills, and build resilience. Instead of fearing them, I embrace them as part of the process of becoming the best version of myself. So, if you're someone who struggles with handling mistakes, remember this. You are not defined by your errors. You are defined by how you respond to them. A mistake is not the end. It's a new beginning, a chance to learn, grow, and move forward with even greater determination.